Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we're talking about Donut Operator, because Donut Operator has gotten himself in some drama with iDubbbz. Not exactly the crossover I was expecting, but it turns out that Donut Operator and iDubbbz used to be friends. Keyword used to be. And today we're going to find out why. So how did all of this start? Well, the other day on the Unsubscribed podcast, which Donut Operator does with a few other creators, they had Tectone on. And Tectone brought up Hassan, and they talked about Twitch drama for a very long time. Now, of course, you'll know that Hassan and iDubbbz have recently gone extremely far left and are both involved in drama against Ethan Klein. That connection eventually led the conversation about Hassan to turn to iDubbbz, where Donut Operator explained that he used to be friends with iDubbbz, but that iDubbbz had stopped talking to him after Donut Operator made a joke that iDubbbz decided crossed the line. And what was that joke? Well, let's listen to Donut Operator explain it.
So like he went to a range day with me one time, like we used to talk a lot about content creation and stuff. And COVID rolls around, I get bored at home, so I make an OnlyFans where I'm showing my meat.
Really?
And so, well, basically, I'm taking a steak and I'm rating a steak. And like,
see, that's the reaction that you're supposed to have. Genius.
I thought it was funny. So I'd be wearing like just an apron. Of course, I'm wearing like boxers underneath. And I'd reach down and be like, "This is my OnlyFans," and this is an A5 Wagyu from down the street. And I would talk about it. And I sent it to Ian, and he got mad and called me and like said I was making fun of Anissa, and like I wasn't.
Oh,
I just thought it was a funny bit because I was sitting at home during COVID. And
You'll never understand what it's like to be an ally.
yeah, it was he
Shit
like
like
said
that.
stuff like that, and yeah, just like haven't talked to him since. That was like 5 years ago.
Over that?
Yeah, and I've like texted him and tried to reconnect with him. He just won't talk to me anymore.
That's right. Donut Operator made a joke OnlyFans back in the day showing his meat, meaning that he was showing people steaks that he was cooking. This was apparently incredibly offensive to iDubbbz because, as you may know, iDubbbz's wife is an OnlyFans creator, and iDubbbz seems to be incredibly insecure about that. He famously put up a video defending OnlyFans, and it was very cringe. So anyway, it's a bit of a sore spot for him, and he thought that Donut Operator was making fun of his wife by making a joke OnlyFans. Now, obviously, that's insane. However, I guess iDubbbz just has some kind of massive ego and thinks the world revolves around him, and he decided this was a personal attack on him. To the point that iDubbbz still, to this day, 5 years later, will not talk to Donut Operator. That's next level petty, I'll give you that. Anyway, iDubbbz did go out to respond to this, calling out Donut Operator, saying, conveniently leaving out that your girlfriend at the time was pursuing OnlyFans, but you were too pussy to deal with the criticism, so you made a parody account. No, I don't want to be friends with a coward. So iDubbbz is outing Donut Operator's girlfriend at the time. I'm not sure if he's still with that woman or if it's somebody he's no longer seeing, for having an OnlyFans, and he's claiming that because Donut Operator didn't have to deal with the criticism of having a girlfriend who does OnlyFans, he made a joke OnlyFans to make fun of it. Now, firstly, somebody you're dating having an OnlyFans is kind of cringe. However, the best way to deal with pretty much anything cringe is to just joke about it, and Donut Operator is funny, so he made a joke. It's actually a pretty funny joke. I honestly don't know how anybody got upset about that, but iDubbbz calls Donut Operator a coward because he did this instead of coming out like iDubbbz did and making an incredibly cringe video about how he supports sex workers. Which, yeah, I mean, I think Donut Operator actually had the better approach to how to handle this, to be honest with you. And then things got weirder, because like always, iDubbbz's wife, Anissa, had to jump into the fray. She said, he also took us to a gun show where a child accidentally fired a gun that was loaded on a sales table into the crowd, and everybody nonchalantly said ND in unison like it wasn't a big deal. Now, if you don't know, ND means negligent discharge, and it's basically when you accidentally shoot a gun. However, if you know anything about guns, you might know that what she's describing here doesn't make any sense. I don't care what gun show you're at, if somebody accidentally shoots at a gun show, that's gonna be a big deal. They're not just gonna hand wave that away. And well, as it turns out, this is just a lie, at least according to Donut Operator's friend Brendan Herrera, who said, I was gonna set the record straight, but it turns out she preemptively blocked me. What she's calling a gun show was a live firing range. Conveniently left that out for no particular reason, I'm sure. And yeah, that completely changes the conversation, because if somebody has a negligent discharge at a live firing range, more than likely they're accidentally shooting out towards nothing, towards an area set up for test firing guns. And therefore, that's significantly less dangerous than accidentally shooting a gun inside of a gun show, obviously. Though neither one of them is particularly safe. It's basically just Anissa was completely mischaracterizing this to make Donut Operator look bad. Even though I honestly think this is kind of a stupid thing to point out, because she's saying, oh, a Donut Operator did this to us. But what did he do? Even if we take her at her word, right, and we say, oh, Brendan Herrera's not right, this wasn't a live firing range, which it probably was, because I don't think Brendan Herrera's gonna lie about that. If we take Anissa at her word, what she's mad at Donut Operator for is taking them to a gun show. That's it, because Donut Operator didn't have a negligent discharge, some random person there did. And then, it's not like Donut Operator didn't make a big deal about the ND. Everybody, according to Anissa, didn't care about it. Why is any of that Donut Operator's fault? Why is she bringing that up against Donut Operator? Once again, I do think that Anissa was greatly mischaracterizing what happened there, if not just outright lying, because let's be honest, Anissa and iDubbbz do not have the best track record with the truth recently, especially given all that's going on with Creator Clash now that they've left. So do you guys think it's fair for iDubbbz to be super mad at Donut Operator for this, for making a joke OnlyFans? Do you think that that's worth cutting off a friendship and not talking to somebody for 5 years? I don't, but I'd be interested to hear what you guys say in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Have a great day, and God bless you.